You're listening to Empire of Rust, the world's first and only Transformers RPG podcast. Join the heroes of Iacon as they defend Cybertronian civilization from the remnants of Cybertron First to Lord Starscream's egotistical leadership, and beyond to the unknown threats on the other side of distant stars.
Welcome back, everyone, to Empire of Rust, the one and only Transformers RPG podcast. And we got a special opening segment for you today. The Transmissions crew have done their end-of-year survey for 2021, but because we record so far in the future, you get to hear it now. But that's okay, because all this stuff, timeless. That's what it is. Timeless.
Good cover, Mike. Good cover.
I am going to throw it to you, Mike, for our first question and first result. Go for it.
All right, the first question is, who is your favorite player character? And you are only allowed to pick one. So in fourth place, with 8.8%, we have Denizen. A fairly new character, so not as popular yet. Perhaps that'll increase next year.
Do you know what we need? We need a least favorite. Because, like, if you can only pick one, that's not necessarily representative of how much she sucks, you know? So, and any other circumstance, I'm sure Carapace will be that. So it's good. Like, you know, I just need that data, though.
I don't need your validation. Keep your vote into yourself.
It's invalidation.
This is exactly the moment where you just need to push the button and vote, you know?
Ooh, I'm great at pushing buttons.
No more buttons. In third place, with 26.5% of the vote, we have a tie between Wildstrike and Pythagoras. And in second place, with 32.4%, Carapace.
That's a huge jump from last year. Look at that. I think you were in last place, weren't you?
Almost certainly. I mean, that's where I belong. You know, I'm not playing a nice character. Like, I shouldn't be well liked.
But you're light years ahead of Denizen, at least.
Yeah.
And in first place, with 47.1% of the vote, a tie between Sweet Spot and Magnum.
Looks like Magnum's overtaken Pythagoras for favorite on this one.
Yeah.
Well, I think Pythagoras was lower than him last time, too.
Well, now they also realize that Magnum is innocent.
Yeah, Magnum also has like a more, I think, like, you know, developed character, whereas like Pythagoras is, you know, kind of just like your pocket scientist.
Well, he doesn't have as much of a personality.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And,
Don't you use your own voice to voice him?
Yeah, I use my own voice, which is revealing in itself. He's not supposed to be the interesting one of the two. So far, anyway.
Well, if Sweet Spot were still here, I'm sure he would be very appreciative of this data.
Do you know what you should do for Pythagoras? You should play the dragnet, like, just the facts, ma'am. Since you're a scientist, just the facts, ma'am.
Yeah, the straight guy, definitely.
Oh, I wish I should have thought of that from the beginning, but yeah.
Well, from now on, it's canon.
There's plenty of room for character development, so yeah.
We got some surprises.
I will take the next one here. Did any of you listen to the Patreon adventure with Charles, Yoshi, Matt, and Pat? A very, very fun adventure. Most of you said no. That is 60%. Said no because it still, at the time, was behind the Patreon. But as of 3 weeks ago, I believe you will be getting this story in the free feed. So if you haven't already listened to it, please be sure to give it a shot. It is a very fun time, and I think both Matt and Pat had a really great time with some new and unique characters.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
All right. There was some interest in what we might be doing with there's an official Transformers RPG coming out. at some point soon. I'm not sure exactly when, but I'm sure the transmissions guys will be doing coverage of it anyway. But we got some feedback of what we might want to do with it. Some people said just to obviously look it over. A few different ways of saying, like, give it a try as a different campaign or a one shot, maybe a video. I think that would be pretty interesting. I might be interested myself in running one if I get the rules some point as a short term thing. So that might be fun. Ooh. So I don't know if anyone has interest in me giving it a try. It would definitely be a different experience from Mike.
A Transformers game that I don't have to run? Ooh, sign me up.
Yeah, I'm always down for trying a little bit of that drug called Matt.
Yeah, it'll be a little trippier usually, as it's been described. But so yeah, I actually look forward to checking it out. I'm not sure when I'll get it, but I'll try to read it when it does come out. So, and stay tuned for that. Anybody have any interest? Give us a note in Discord, or send any feedback you want to Transmissions. Yeah, there's also we also asked if someone would be interested in non-Transformers live play, and there seemed to be 2/3 of the people would be interested. Not sure what we would do, but that would certainly be fun. I mean, these guys I'm with are always fun to play with, so we could definitely keep that in mind.
I've got a few ideas.
Oh, that would be good.
Uh-oh.
Adam is a very competent DM as well.
Creepy.
So.
Oh, thank you. That's exactly what I was going for. Creepy.
All of you guys are really good DMs. Like, literally, every single one of you is, like, thoroughly good. I mean, different.
And you too.
Yeah, this is
We're
an
all
awesome
quite different.
group.
Yeah. I played under every single one in here.
Yeah, no one's someone who I don't look forward to running a character through. And there are so many awesome characters that you guys have all allowed to coexist in worlds that maybe they shouldn't.
You mean we've offended nature? I mean, if we were going to run one, I'd be curious what people would be interested in seeing. I mean, we've done a lot of diverse ones. I've run superhero campaigns, fantasy. Most people have done that one. Adam, Pat, Mike have experienced the regular Starfinder, I believe.
Yep.
Mike M has done Warhammer, and you've done a lot of things, haven't you? Warhammer and Savage Worlds. Anyway, interested in feedback on that if you guys are interested.
I think next time I'll have to get a little bit more detail with it, like what kind of games you'd be interested in and kind of where to go from there.
Get specific. Make a list.
All right. The next two questions are totally for me. How do you listen to Empire of Rust? Headphones, earbuds, speakers, car stereo, car speakers, laptop phone, or semi-truck? I don't know where that came from, but you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
Was that a
Shout
rating?
out to all truckers out there.
Honk, honk.
Or people who just happen to plug into a semi-truck.
Long hours driving from coast to coast, man.
See, I don't remember actually adding that to the questions. So I'm wondering if one of the transmissions folks added that for me.
Well, was it an option to add more answers to it from the public, or?
I don't think so, but you never know. You never know. Either way, the vast majority, 51% of you listen on earbuds, and I asked the question because a little behind the scenes is I do 2 editing passes on this. One is for content, just to cut everything down to the right amount of time, and then another pass for sound effects, voiceovers, music, and what have you. And typically, I'll use just my computer speakers for the first pass, and then I'll use professional headphones for the second pass. But I do want to see what most of you are listening on. That way, I can kind of tune it so it sounds as good as possible on those. So if it sounds good on earbuds, then I know then I know it's going to sound good to you.
What if we use earbuds on our laptop? What do we put then, Mike?
You know what? I don't know. We'll have to have another category.
I really thought there was only going to be one answer for everyone. Their ears.
I was going to say, I use actually technopathy to just directly link with like the server. So does that count? That actually bypasses my oral cavity completely.
It must sound amazing to you.
Have you listened to your voice in high detail, Mike?
Yes, actually I have. I've listened to your voice in high detail too.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
Sounds a bit brainy.
Yep.
And the next question is, how is the audio quality? I asked this just to make certain that we are maintaining a pretty high standard of quality over the podcast, and the majority of you rated as 8 to 9. One of you is at a 7, and then a couple of you are at a 10. So right at the good sweet spot there.
We're looking for you, number 7.
And to wrap it up, I am going to throw this over to Pat and Adam.
So I guess we asked, do you guys have any suggestions for improving the show, or are there any things that you'd like to hear? And I think first off was you guys would like to see the bios for cameo characters. So any of the little NPCs, I guess in this case it would be NPBs, non-player bots, and
NPBs.
And each one. More monkeys. Not really sure what that one is about. Was there a monkey reference that I just forgot about?
Someone just
probabilities,
yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, 0 is more than 0 is still more.
Mostly it's all positive. Keep doing. Pretty good. Someone would want to see the challenges to be more balanced. I guess they think that we're winning very easily, and they would like to see it be a little bit more challenging for us, which that's a balancing act. It's difficult to do.
Did you not notice that one of my characters died recently? That wasn't easy.
Kind of happened off character, though. Off camera. It wasn't a in character death based on balance. It was like I could say my character died, and no one will believe it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that would be a blatant lie anyway. That's a sucker bet right there.
Yes, exactly.
Someone actually asked they wanted to hear more about the live action studio series and third-party live action figures as well. Not sure.
I think what happened is whoever put that comment in there mistook that as suggestions for improving the overall transmissions network versus just Empire of Rust.
But figures? Can we get figures made of us?
How do you show figures over an audio medium?
Is there a website? Is there a website for this? Like that people can kind of like see the character art and put in our character sheets and any of that kind of stuff?
Like
I've posted most of the stuff on the Discord channel, but I mean, I'm sure we could get something set up on transmissions.
I guess it would be a fan page. I've never really done that sort of thing, but if we're in this vein, it might not be a bad idea.
There's also someone wants more sound effects, Mike. Transformation sounds, gunfire, hits, walking, running, etc. So that's all you.
I put in so much already.
I know you do. We actually get to listen to it after you've passed it for time and before you've added in the sound effects. And let me tell you, folks, there is an amazing amount of sound effects that Mike puts in. How dare you ask for more?
I think a lot of it is a lot of sound effects are so effective that you don't notice they're part of it, but you would notice if they weren't there.
But
and
that's
a lot
the thing.
of times how the really good sound effects work. I would make a suggestion, Mike. This is not something you've done, but it's something a recent podcast I listened to have done. Please don't do it. Put retching sounds on the podcast. I was not happy.
Why would they add that?
Because that's what was happening to the story they were telling. It was a little too much.
Yeah, I think it's better just to reference it like off camera, like, oh, don't step there, and let people's own theater of the mind take over.
Well, they were telling a story, so you could describe it without having the sound in the background.
True.
But it provided that visceral reaction to you, didn't it?
Yes, the visceral reaction was shut off the podcast.
I think that might actually affect some people. Like hearing someone retch might cause them to kind of want to retch themselves.
Right here.
I know the smell of it is kind of nauseating to me.
No, the sound of it gets me real bad. Makes me sick. So. Anyway, that was an extremely weird aside, but...
I'm suddenly thinking of that scene in The Goonies. And I blamed it on the dog.
So yes, I will promise you, Matt, no retching sounds for robots in my game. Well, thank you, gentlemen, and thank all of you listeners who answered all the survey questions. It helps us kind of figure out where we want to go in the future for each of our stories here, and kind of for the podcast. So, again, thank you for answering, and also thank you for listening, because we don't say that often enough. Thank you all for listening. Thank you so much for listening.
Yes,
to
definitely.
our little podcast.
Yes. Thank you very much.
I want to join in on that. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We appreciate you.
And there's the creepy smile.
I think they could feel the creepy through the radio,
It does transmit well.
So with all the ego stroking done, let's get back to our campaign. When last we left, you had just finished off Wildstrike. Wildstrike's dead now. No, I'm sorry. Wildstrike's combiner clone, who has been broken into pieces by Magnum's disaggregator gun, has now been broken into pieces by all of you. And you are now surrounded by the remains of Wildstrike, and Wildstrike.
Don't forget about Wildstrike.
And Wildstrike.
How could we forget about Wildstrike? You're good in small doses, but not all at once.
We're going to need to save some Shannix for therapy for Wildstrike when we're done with this.
For Wildstrike? What about the rest of us?
So yeah, go ahead and walk me through what you want to do. You are still in this circular room surrounded by these stasis tables, and you are surrounded by the pieces of Wildstrike clones. You have a couple of other rooms you have yet to explore in the facility, but otherwise, you are free to explore as you need.
All right, well, let's get cracking.
I think, could I do a scientific sort of analysis of these things? To figure out exactly what they are. Were they full-fledged bots? Were they just little, were they clones or unintelligent clones?
Why don't you go ahead and give me either a life science or mysticism?
That is a 29 for life science.
29, it's a solid check right there. So yeah, you go ahead and you take a look at all of the different pieces and the remains of these, what are effectively clones. You think, based on what you've heard from Shockwave's logs, along with all of the equipment you found in the facility, that these are experimental clones of Wildstrike. It looks like their brain modules weren't as developed, they weren't as robust as you imagine Wildstrike's is. But yeah, they look like clones that were modified to be able to combine.
I hope you're happy, Magnum. Look at Pythagoras. He's sad that he has no wee playmates. He's beside himself with grief, he is.
Literally.
Beside himself.
I'm not really sure what else he'll he'll tell everyone else the information, obviously, but I'm not sure what else to do with this.
Question I have. Could such a procedure be done without consent? Or did you volunteer for this?
Not that I remember.
So, yeah, that's a convenient answer.
Yes, because all this has been terribly convenient. Can he do a memory check?
Yeah, you can go ahead and do an intelligence or wisdom check to see if you can remember some stuff from this.
Oh, okay. A 21 for intelligence.
Ooh, that's good.
That is solid.
Wow.
Well, I'd like to try a sense motive on his response there. Because, Carapace did bring up a good point. So, my sense motive is, if my computer will cooperate with me. Did any of you see the roll? Because I didn't have the chat thing up. And now I think
Yes.
I closed it.
You get a 19.
Okay, there you go.
And I get a 19 on my bluff.
Okay. Then could I have gotten a 21 possibly?
From what?
On my sense motive.
If you added 2.
Is there a reason to add 2 to your bluff?
Yes,
Do you
because
have
he's a
sense motive?
Decepticon. And I'm a Decepticon. I know how we think.
Yeah, but Wildstrike also knows how you think.
Damn.
Does it work that way?
No.
No. There actually are...
That was the bluff.
Cybertronians actually do get bonuses, but they're against other factions.
Oh, so he would get that against an Autobot, but not a Decepticon.
Potentially. I don't remember the exact rules, but yeah, like...
Bluff for the win. No, it's shot down.
All right, well, Wildstrike, you said you got a 21 for your intelligence check, so, yeah, your memories are still very, very hazy and fuzzy on this, and most of it's been removed, but you can imagine that someone wouldn't really need your consent to do this especially if you came into the facility unconscious, like if you were just transferred straight from Mangarai and you just simply weren't active, they could easily do this without your consent.
So I have a question for you, Wildstrike. If it turns out that you're like a real bad guy, in your current state of mind, like i.e. the only version of you that I do know, do you want us to put you down?
You mean if I was a bad guy in the past?
Yeah, like if suddenly you get total recall and all of a sudden all the memories of the last million years float in and you're like a genocidal douche, do you want us to put you down based on your view of morality at this moment?
Interesting.
Ooh, I will transform back from bear to bot form because this is getting juicy.
That is interesting.
Add to the wrinkle that you might be the clone. So you might, if you did all these bad things, it might have not have been even you doing it. I have experience in this.
Right, but I mean, like, so you just said that these guys were like incomplete versions of it. Well, what if you now are the incomplete version of it? Like, you don't have the fully developed brain housing of the true Wildstrike, and that person is a very, very bad person. Would you want that dangerous person to be let loose, or would you rather us put you down?
Do you think that this Wildstrike is a bigger version of these wee ones that we just fought, and they would have eventually developed into a larger one with more memory, like the Wildstrike before us here?
I don't think so, but that's...
From my scientific analysis, would I be able to tell whether they will develop?
Hypothetical.
Sure.
Tell us what you
Life
think.
science.
I just did a life science on these things.
Yeah, I don't remember what you got.
It was
I got
high.
a 29.
It was very high.
All right, I'll roll it over since you reminded me. You don't think that these things will grow into a bigger Wildstrike, but while the current Wildstrike seems to be a more advanced version of these ones.
Is he advanced enough to be... I mean, is he advanced as any Transformer of his age? Of his apparent age?
Yeah, to you it seems like it, but without being able to compare personalities to the old version, you don't know if he is as advanced as his previous version.
Well, now that you can see these clones, can you determine if I'm the clone?
I will do my best. Why don't we go into the other room? Wildstrike, you're a clone! What? I'm a clone too!
Are you sure the fact that he has eyelids wouldn't be the key?
Oh, Denizen, you're a clone too. We are clones. This isn't really the Battle of Ross. This is Empire of Clones.
God, Matt, you're amazing.
Would anyone be upset if I killed Magnum right now? Anyone at all?
I would be. A little. All right, let us go back to the clone room with one of these things. If you don't mind, Wildstrike, I will do a comparative analysis between the three of you.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Oh, yeah. For my vote,
Very well.
current Wildstrike is best Wildstrike. Yeah. No one's putting Wildstrike down while I'm around.
In the next questionnaire, you have to say, well, which is your favorite Wildstrike so far?
If anyone wants to put Wildstrike down, you'll have to go through me. Not that that'll be terribly difficult, but...
I don't need to go through you
Yes,
to put Wildstrike down, yeah?
He has walls.
I have walls.
But you have doors, too.
Doors, yes, but I have locks. So that might
Do you?
slow you down for 5 minutes.
Do you have locks?
I'll
Yes.
throw up just one of my claws. I've got a lockpick,
I got a force field.
and I have a bite.
All right, let's
well-
clear this place because I want to know what the answer is.
We are going some
Fine,
weird
let's clear this
places
place,
right
because I want to know who would win in a fight between me and Magnum, too. All right, let's set up the rules here. This is inbounds. This is out of bounds over here. And this right here will be the square circle that we face off in. Are you ready now?
You are the bounds.
It would just be a bear beating on a cube until it falls apart, pretty much.
And I'm okay with that.
So you have 3 rooms left that you have not explored. One is immediately to the north and east of you. And then the other 2, one's connected to that room, and then another one is a little bit further off, a bit closer to that storeroom and the exam room that Denizen shot lightning through. So which one would you like to explore first?
Well, the closer one I think would be best. Wouldn't you agree, Carapace?
Yeah, that's efficient.
All right, let's go. So I guess we're heading north a little bit, and then southeast.
Yep.
Sure.
So this room is a communications routing center, and this was the big room that you wanted to get to when you explored this facility, because if you remember, you were able to track a signal from Cybertron through here to Scarvix. So Magnum, anyone can give me a perception check. Magnum, I want you to give me a computers check.
Ooh, I can do a computer check.
24 for Carapace.
24 for Carapace, okay? I'll actually just answer that while everyone else is rolling. So Carapace, as you are looking through the room here, you notice the door to the south. And as you examine that, you find that it is a holocom room. A small room dedicated to a holographic conference chamber, capable of transmitting real-time holographic communications throughout the galaxy.
Oh, so it's got an entanglement engine. That's cool.
I am slowly circling Carapace towards the large control panel to his left. And as I stand there next to him, I will be staring at the buttons.
You provoke 3 attacks of opportunity as you walk around him.
All right, I got a 22 for computers and a 33 for perception.
All right, that is more than enough to get this. You are able to get the comm system back up online, and you can see that there is one message that was last logged to the communications hub by the system. Would you like to play it?
Yes, play it, please. Play that beautiful holographic footage.
You press the button, and Starscream's dulcet tones come over the speaker.
Greetings, Prosecutor Alonia.
I have some information on Administrator Stansant that you might find useful.
I push a button.
Something that could ensure that the good administrator takes an early retirement, allowing you to fill one of the junior positions once his successor takes office.
I push another button.
But this information comes at a price. If I'm helping you rise to the top, then you need to help me to stay at the top. One of my competitors is heading to Scarvix to assist the criminal Magnum.
How do you turn this off?
If Sweet Spot chose to stay on Scarvix permanently, I would be most grateful to your world.
Oh, good, that's the end of it.
Once the message completes, there is a text message that was sent in response to it. All it says is, mission complete, 3rd cycle, 3819, Arc 10.
Cycles.
Which
cycles.
would have...
Always the cycles. What does the cycle mean? It means whatever you need at that moment.
Is that a specific date?
Yep. It is the day after the explosion where you lost Sweet Spot.
Yeah, that's the day I joined up with you folks.
Wait, so this place received a message, but we didn't find any traces of someone being here?
Yeah.
It is an automated communications relay. So communications are still being bounced back and forth.
So someone's using this to obfuscate their communications. And we're the middleman. So who is he writing to again?
He's writing to Prosecutor Alonia. You remember her, don't you?
Oh, yes. And because she wants to get rid of Stansant, which was the judge, if I remember correctly.
Uh-huh.
Okay, just making sure. I'm not good with names.
It's okay.
I'm terrible with names and have no idea what all that meant.
Well, you don't really need to, but what it means is our prosecutor was paid to get rid of Sweet Spot by Starscream to somehow politically destabilize the High Court judge. Or he might even be the administrator of the planet, I don't know.
So why was Sweet Spot so special? He was just an Autobot, wasn't he?
Because just an Autobot.
Megatron is just a Decepticon.
It was obviously...
Clearly, you haven't read the history books.
Clearly, you're not reading the room. Sweet Spot was apparently a big competitor in Starscream's eyes.
Didn't seem all that special to me.
Sweet Spot was running against him.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Narrator.
When you're faced with an opponent, you have to take them out, don't you?
Yeah. And you also repay them in kind.
Your faces are all saying something here. I'm reading the room now, and I'm really not fond of it. So I'm going to take a cue and stop speaking now.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, seriously. Wow.
Carapace is so happy. No, Patrick is happy. I'm sorry. Actually, I wanted to ask Denizen here. This is probably the first time you heard Starscream's voice in a long time.
That's why I was trying to turn off the recording while it was going.
I'll look at the computer to see what she actually did. Did she depressurize a good portion of the building, turn on all the showers, reverse gravity?
The holocom array is now active. So if you go into that room to the south, you will be broadcasting to the universe.
Can we turn that off?
Yes.
To the universe?
Universe.
So, when she does this, button pushing thing, does she get, an auto DC computers check of 25? Because, I couldn't do that with training,
I get a chart, don't worry.
Fools wait in where angels fear to push buttons, apparently.
I have plot on my side.
Yeah,
we'll see how long that plot lasts.
I can't beat that. I can't beat plot,
Alright, I'll turn off the transmitter.
Easy enough.
We should take all of this and sell it.
Magnum,
Yes.
Can you transmit any message through that? Or does somebody have to be in there speaking?
I'll look at the computer. Like, they sent a text message, so it didn't seem like we have to be in there speaking. They just sent a text message back.
There's two systems on here. One is the holographic communication, which someone will have to be in order to send it out. Or you can have the Steelhaven, for example, send a signal to the station with instructions to relay to somewhere else. So you cannot just transmit base from here, but you can have someone else kind of relay it for you.
So what do you have in mind, Wildstrike?
We need to take down Starscream.
Yeah.
There's the thing. Yes, you should. All right, I'll stop talking, but I'm on board with that.
I was going to take matters into my own hand, but seeing this device able to transmit messages anywhere, this might be our opportunity. We have that recording.
This is a genie. Like, you can't put this back in the bottle. Like, is this what you want to do? Like, when you want to do it? Like, I get the strong impulse of, like, let's act, but,
I think I see what
it's up to you. Do we want to release this now? Can we set this on a timer?
You can set it on a remote trigger.
Yeah, can we remotely trigger it?
We can also just come back.
Yeah, this is a long way from Cybertron, though.
I will say that with a successful engineering check, you could set up a remote trigger for it.
So, would distance be affected though through this, or would it be instantaneous considering how it works?
Distance would take a little bit of time. Yeah, it would certainly be faster than traveling here, like on ship, but it would still take probably a couple of days for the signal to reach here and then for it to trigger.
How does that work if this allows you to interact in real time all the way across the galaxy? Doesn't that defeat the very purpose of what you just said?
That's Magnum setting it up. This is already designed to go ahead and do it.
I was saying, when this transmits, it's real time when it's received, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you saying the destination and the transmitter have to be special quantum transmitters?
The idea is that if you're sending a signal to trigger something, it's going to trigger it here in the base, and then it will tell it to transmit whatever you tell it to transmit. That transmission will then go in real time, but the signal that you send to here in order to trigger it will be normal transmissions. If you were in if you found another one of these kind of places that has this kind of instantaneous communication, then you could trigger it instantaneously, because then it would connect to it instantaneously.
So it's sort of like a space bridge for communication. You need it to be an installation, sort of, or it's just like a
right.
So you much higher tech level.
Okay,
transmitter.
That was the piece that I was missing. I'm like, why not just take that technology and put it into a walkie-talkie and then just send far noises to the universe.
Theoretically, you could if you could make a high enough check or something like that, but I don't think we're probably capable of it. Well, I can set up a receiver regardless.
Why don't you go ahead and set up a receiver just in case that you need it?
What do you think, Wildstrike? Will that work for you right now? We set this up. I think I'm with you, but we can push the button when it's most opportune.
That would be perfect.
Yeah,
can you make it so it's not a button push, so Clauselot can't just accidentally do this?
I'm hearing a lot of people saying push buttons.
I'll unplug the power from the console. So.
You're pushing Carapace's buttons. Let me tell you.
He only has one button, and it's annoy. I know, because I've seen it. All right. Anyone here can have any access to engineering?
Yes. Okay. I will assist.
We're going to need every drop of points I can get to do this the best.
Yeah, I can help you out too. All I have to do is roll a bluff check.
To convince us you have engineering?
I have 2.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that.
And the way I contribute is just by not letting her near the project.
I had 4.
Keep hitting the wrong buttons.
Yeah, Carapace just picks me up and swings me around to the side of him, away from the buttons.
I mean, I'm just more curious. Is this like a psychosis or like a compulsion? I don't understand. It's you've lived in Yukari, so you know the danger of just randomly running up and touching shit.
Yeah, but I've also lived with the humans, and a lot of their buttons are really weak and just superfluous.
So then why does that draw your interest?
I don't know.
They're
just
shiny, I
does.
think is the reason.
Okay, so it's a compulsion. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like
It's a bit of a trial and error kind of a thing to explore by trying things.
So as far as I understand, I'm getting a +6. 4 from Wildstrike, 2 from Carapace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that means I am getting a 29 engineering check.
29. That is... Today's your day for 29s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, not for charisma checks, though, I'll tell you that.
So yeah, you can go ahead and set up a receiver and link it into the actual holographic relay on here, so that way, in case you find another one of these systems somewhere on Cybertron, you can instantly connect to it and set a transmission that you program to go out to everywhere.
Guys.
Like the transmission that you just saw of Starscream telling someone to get rid of someone. It's what was his name? Sugar Puddle or whatever.
Sweat spot.
That was it. So I'll just use a trigger right now, and could I set countermeasures?
Yes. Go ahead and give me a quick computers check, please.
Anybody able to do computers? 19.
Yeah, 19 is...
It's probably like a password.
Yeah, you can set up some basic protections, but you think that anyone who is good at computers will be able to bypass them, unfortunately.
But if someone just blasts the console, it'll transmit. That's probably as good as it's going to get right now. Alrighty.
That's good to know.
Alright, so can we queue up that message?
Yep.
And this other message I have to go after it?
Oh, certainly. Whatever you have.
Another one, huh? Alright.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wish to show us, or do you want me to just queue it up without showing anyone?
I'm just giving it to
Okay.
Magnum.
Then I won't play it.
If anybody asks about it.
I mean, I will. Pythagoras will ask you because he's going to put it in. Do you want us to see this, or do you want this to be private right now?
Well, I was going to bring it directly to him, but you can see it if you'd like. Starscream.
Well, now I'm curious. Wait, does he talk in the message?
So Mike, I'll play that message that Wildstrike received.
Wildstrike, you go ahead and give the data slug over to Magnum and Pythagoras. It pops it into the system, and you can see on the communication relay that it is a message from Starscream.
Loud groan.
I will stand between the buttons and her.
I just heard about what happened to dear Ambassador Sweet Spot. I always said that bot wouldn't notice if he drove straight into an explosion. I don't know what he had over you, but now that he's out of the way, we can work together to ensure Cybertron grows and thrives. After all, us Seekers need to stick together. Contact me when you're finished at Teonia. I may have something that'll benefit us both.
This was sent to you from him?
Yes.
Did you answer him?
I'll hold up my rifle. This was going to be my response.
Well said.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that response. That's a good response there.
All right. I will attach that as well, and make sure that anyone who sees it will make sure to see the.
That's not like some sort of weird Seeker thing where you're actually asking them out on a date,
secret equivalent of foreplay.
Yeah.
Carapace, sense motive, quick.
God, no. I'd rather believe the lie if that's true.
That's a 6.
You believe whatever Wildstrike tells you. All right, to help move things along, let's go ahead and do a couple things here. Magnum and Pythagoras, the two of you have a couple things you wanted to check on before before you start heading out. So, Pythagoras, you have a couple of things that you can do here. You can start working on the central database, trying to get as much information as possible from it, and you have to check on Wildstrike. So which one would you like to do first?
I'll do the central database because I can use that in the check afterwards.
So we'll say that Wildstrike, Carapace, Denizen, and Legionnaire are going to empty out the facility while Magnum and Pythagoras go ahead and start working on that central database.
I'm actually going to also download any extra technical information on weapon formers, because we have a weapon former who is still damaged and in bad health, and I want to see if there's anything I can do to help, get him running again.
Certainly. Absolutely. So the database is heavily encrypted, but with Pythagoras going at it, you make quick work of the security firewalls, and you find a treasure trove of research and medical information. Full workups of the Spark grafting process and records of the test subjects are located in the project's subdirectory. Wildstrike and the others were listed as transferred from Mangarai instead of killed in action. And the dates line up with the information you got from Sandstorm. According to the database, Wildstrike, your memories of this place were erased as part of standard procedures when leaving. However, a physical memory backup is stored on site in case the information is ever needed by Decepticon High Command. Pythagoras, as you are looking through all of the data here, you realize that the fourth bot, Beacon of Nion, is an outlier with the ability to create energy clones. According to the records, Shockwave pulled that ability out and used it as a basis for creating the duplicate sparks of the others. Unfortunately, the enormous amount of energy needed to do it each time was determined to be inefficient, and the project was eventually shelved in favor of more scalable solutions. You can find blueprints and schematics for the X-laser cannon, as well as several other prototype weapons developed in the vault. And in the command directory, you have the ability to generate access codes for the doors that can be downloaded to your local system, should you need it.
Can I get some access codes and then restrict all others?
Give me a computer check.
25.
25, that's better than that 19 you got. Yeah, we'll say a 25 is good enough for it.
Alright, so now we have exclusive access to this building.
These aren't exactly like super difficult checks for doors.
Doors. My old nemesis, doors. Alright, I will copy all information and relay the salient details. So it seems that when they say energy clones, does that mean is that actually a physical clone created from energy, or?
Effectively, Beacon could create little small clones of himself made out of energon that were just very that it didn't last very long, but they effectively were almost like ghosts.
It's okay, and they used that to made it go further.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I think we should also take the bodies with us. So,
I would expect Wildstrike would be curious.
Magnum found it, so I'm not sure if he's sharing that or not.
What did I find?
The memories are stored there. Is that something that you would share, or would you?
I would share.
Hold on to that.
Oh, okay. Right, because you might be evil now.
Yeah.
Wait, you said his memories are downloaded as a local copy. Was that what are you saying?
As a physical backup. Compartment 2 in the storeroom up north.
Okay, I think my brain sort of missed that part. Probably was yapping.
I'll say with a good enough computer's check, you can do it.
I mean, without a spark, it's not really alive. It's just a data bank.
You're effectively reading a book.
Yeah.
But don't forget, you can't unread a book.
I will radio...
Technically, yes, we can.
I will radio Wildstrike first, before I tell anyone else this, because it's his brain. So I was like, Wildstrike, a backup copy of your brain is located here. And I think it's probably... I would consider that your property. but it could be useful to all of us, but you can decide what you want to do with it. I'm not telling anyone else until you decide what you want to do.
Oh, look, crackers shaped like data slugs.
Is that something we can access?
Should be able to, because it's like data tracks. Like, Transformers can back up their memories anyway. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll say that you were in the middle of loading stuff in the storeroom when that message came in. So he tells you compartment 2 in the storeroom, and you take a quick look, and you can see it. It's like an actual physical backup that you could plug into.
All right, I will grab that for now.
There's also the matter of the original brain that might still have something in it that in the original body. I mean,
sure.
The probability is seeming like our current Wildstrike is a clone. I mean,
Do it.
But that is something we're going to check.
yes. So I will download all the information off of the central computer, and
Easily done.
then I will call Wildstrike again and say where I'm going to head over to Wildstrike to come over to the clone room. Come to the clone room! I need to check your brain.
Join Magnum there.
Wildstrike, you did find 3 others while you were in there too. And you would imagine if one is yours, the other 3 would be Tremor, Tiltfire, and probably Beacon.
Interesting.
Okay, I'll grab those as well.
Did you like those people?
He was friends with
so.
him, right?
Yeah,
Forget whether he liked them or not, we're all just nosy.
I don't really remember much, but I think we were friends.
I think you're about to.
Yeah, I think you're about to remember quite a bit.
All right. I will use all the equipment in here, and I'll grab scientific equipment from the other rooms if I need to, since we have lots of stuff here to work with. And I will do a analysis between the dead Wildstrike, the living one, and the baby clone. The mini clone. Mini clone.
Give me a life science check, and you can take it at +4. Because you did the database first.
I'm going to watch what you do. I can't yet contribute, but if I happen to level up soon, I might get a rank in life science.
All right.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I get Pythagoras can tutor you if you want.
With a role like that, I'm not even really interested in it, but I think I just learned something.
Got a 30.
Damn, that's a way to do it. Yeah, you think he's a clone now.
I think he's a clone now.
Thank you.
Weird Al Yankovic, look it up, folks.
It's just who could have gotten to it first.
Yeah, you're pretty certain that this Wildstrike is a clone.
But he is permanent, right? He is a life form in his own right at this point, right? So
that is correct. You don't think he's going to die or anything like that. He doesn't have a limited lifespan or a limited shelf life or anything.
Also, if he turns out to be evil, we could kill him and no one would miss him.
You could do that and people wouldn't miss?
He seems to be a successful outcome of what they were trying to do here. Like, they actually successfully made a cloned spark, right?
Sure.
That way.
Well, the question is, did it kill the original one to do it?
Right. That's
Or was
Technically, wasn't he already dead?
Yeah, it seems likely that he probably was already dead, but...
He was a confirmed KIA.
Does it have a record of whether he was dead when he came in? And
Oh yeah, he was out. Sandstorm was right when he said that he did shoot him and he did kill him. He was, yeah.
Well, I will tell Wildstrike all the details. I would say, don't think of it as a clone. Think of it as new and improved.
Well, thank you for checking. That's disturbing information.
That's putting whipped cream on a mud pie.
I'd rather give Wildstrike the information on his own. Although it depends. Are you okay to telling everyone, Mike? I mean,
Yeah, that's fine.
And then could I do an analysis, since I have a lot of information about his brain and his memories? I will hook memory cards up, his corpse up, his head up, and do a search for unconscious trigger compulsions.
Interesting.
You're thinking that maybe before he died, he had like the bugaboo compulsion thing going on,
or after his
also
clone was created. But I don't
and
actually
you're thinking
think
maybe,
he does. But
maybe that would transfer with the memory thing,
or they put it in a new one. I actually don't think he has one, but it would be. I think everyone would. It'll sort of clear his name here to find out there's nothing there.
Yeah, you're already going to be in there. You might as well rule out that possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
to be honest, I could do with less of
the.
What? Chewing tires? Who does that? Oh wait, Rex was telling me something about.
I'll go ahead and roll over that 30 for you. You get in his memory module, the memory module of the dead one, correct?
I want to do a comparison of the dead one and him alive, too. So I want to check his living brain, too.
So first thing is you don't notice any subconscious trigger conditions.
In either of them?
On either of them. The second thing, and you can tell that the memories of the dead Wildstrike end during the combat at Mangarai. So up until that point, all of the memory engrams match up correctly.
Okay. Not sure what that means, but it means it wasn't tampered with.
Right.
So he doesn't have any false memories.
He doesn't have any false memories from the time he was killed at Mangarai through his entire life.
All right.
Okay.
Happy to announce your life has been genuine. And you have a clean bill of health when it comes to, what do they call it? The Manchurian Candidate.
He was comparing the memories. But if I would try to access those memories, see if I can use the thing that I found, just see what those memories are then.
You want to hook yourself back up?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. The physical backup is designed to be able to easily attach to a memory module and to actually get in there, and because that's the entire point of it, is to actually get access to those memories again. So, you go ahead, take a seat in one of the medical bays here, and you plug yourself back in. You ready for this?
I hope so.
Carapace, you ready for this?
Oh yeah, he's already got a guillotine on him. It's
Michael Bay, are you ready for this?
Memories come flooding back into your brain module, Wildstrike, and you remember everything that went on here in the Vault of Stars. You remember all the experiments, a lot of them very painful experiments. And you remember the shouts and screams of your companions. Beacon was the first one to really get experimented on, because Shockwave tore everything out of his body in order to recreate his abilities. But he was very successful, and it was an incredibly painful and unpleasant experience for you to wake up, because the first thing you remember after that is literally getting shot in the head. Or no, sorry, in the spark. Getting shot in the spark. And yeah, it was like you wake up like screaming and shouting, and it's just, ooh, man, so bad. You remember the years you spent here in the vault as Shockwave tests out all your systems to be sure that you are a functional, stable Cybertronian. You remember that you and Beacon really hated each other too.
Really?
Over the course of Mangarai, he was always trying to show you up. He was just a dick to you. When he died, I'm sure you must have just chuckled to yourself a little bit, like, sucker. Tremor and Tiltfire were fairly fairly companionable to you. You were closer to Tiltfire than you were Tremor. Would make sense, you were both Jets and everything, so... but still, Tremor would have backed you up every once in a while, so, yeah.
So you're saying he was a bit shaky?
Yes, he was. Anything in particular that you want to know?
The memories of the Mangarai, they come back? Like everything from that?
Oh, yeah. That was a horrible battle, too. So many people died.
Because I remember that was brought up several times about Wildstrike's participation in that.
Mm-hmm. You remember acting as the decoy to the Autobot faction when Decepticon High Command needed time to resupply and to reset the offensive. You and Tremor and Tiltfire all went to effectively broker a ceasefire for a few days, but you knew full well that it was fake. There wasn't going to be no ceasefire or anything. It was just time to reload and to get battle positions changed.
All right, well, that makes sense then. Anything interesting from the Vault of Stars before I left? Like any mission parameters or anything like that? Did they just release me?
They released you, yes. There was no overall mission assigned to you. Towards the end of your time there, you kind of realized that the experiment, while it was successful, was so energy inefficient that it was not useful for the entire Decepticon army. And as you kind of listened in to the science techs talking about it, you realized that this procedure would have been used on very high-ranking Decepticons if they were killed. So if Megatron, for instance, were killed, he would probably get this treatment. If Starscream were killed, he would probably get it as well. But as far as like the rank-and-file soldiers, just too many people died in order for it to be useful long-term.
And there was no reason why we were selected. We were just there.
Yeah, Shockwave just needed some bodies, and okay. Mangarai was coming to a close, and it was the easiest group to get. And no one would miss 3 corpses off of thousands of them.
All right. Well, that's fascinating.
So you may be a clone, but now you can write your own story. The future is up to you.
Indeed.
And with that being said, we will see you next time, and all of you can level up!
Yeah!
Sweet. Nice.
Excellent, Smithers.
From the Secret Files of Teletran 1, Empire of Rust is written and GM'd by Michael Ordway. Headmaster Magnum and his partner Pythagoras are played by Matthew G. Denizen, the mysterious druid, is played by Adam H.U. The Decepticon warrior, Wildstrike, is played by Mike M. And Carapace, the bee soldier of primitive Eucharis, is played by Patrick Finn. Additional characters are played by Michael and Cassandra Ordway. Empire of Rust is supported by the humans and networks of planet Earth, whose online networks provide access to libraries of sound effects and music, such as Storyblocks, Zasplat, Blue Zone, and Dark Fantasy Studios. We are distributed by the Transmissions Podcast Network. Stay up to date with all the latest news and reviews in the world of the Transformers by going to transmissionspodcast.com or searching for the Transmissions in your podcast app of choice. You can communicate with the heroes of Iacon by joining us on the Transmissions Discord channel. There you can discuss episodes, talk to the cast, and download the rule set used in the Empire of Rust. Teletran 1, signing off.